Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How we doing out there? What's happening this morning, ladies and gentlemen? Hope y'all are doing okay. I hope y'all are having a good morning. That you've woken up refreshed. If you have not, that you do something for yourself. Get yourself refreshed, right? Something, anything, a jog, a brisk walk, a slow walk, anything just to get you in tune with the world around you, with life around you. Just understand, ladies and gentlemen, that we live in a world today that is full of traps. Again, temptations, trials, and tribulations. But we can be of good cheer because we have what is in us to help us overcome them. Right? Y'all welcome in us the 600 who listen to a different view. Today's topic, or actually I should say last time when we were talking, we were speaking on some different topics, right? One, dealing with the word belonging, right? Just to refresh the memory about the word belonging, comes from belong, an old English word from the 1400s that deals with to go along with, to properly relate to, right? And you can even break it down further and do the word long and all that kind of thing, and the be part and all that. It just starts to bring together the idea of what goes together. You know, we joke about it with Bianca Belair on WWE in an old feud with Charlotte Flair back in the day. She told her, "You don't even go here." And we made that correlation where how people they act like they're for you, but it's not their thing, right? They use things to twist, to manipulate, right? Normally to slight for themselves. Again, the word belonging, as we just spoke on, belong, an affinity for a place or a situation. That word affinity, that again, where in this world can I find my place in this world? We had mentioned that song from Michael W. Smith, an old Christian artist back in the day. Right? I guess you can put the genre. CCM is normally where it normally goes with Christian music, but more or less it's pop music, right? It's got high levels of, you know, that 80s synthesized type of thing to it, and keyboards and all that. So good song, give it a listen. Then again, we are talking about what's happening, right, ladies and gentlemen, right? Shout out that TV show. What is happening? So there's something that I couldn't post online because there's something about Twitter, and when you go to post something from Twitter or X, whichever way you want to look at it, where it just doesn't correlate well. And I always worry when I go to post, whether it be onto the gram or Facebook, that what I get from X/Twitter will not correlate. So we are going to read it to you, and then we're gonna have a little conversation, y'all. Right? We're gonna have a conversation, because again, what's gonna happen here is that people are going to do what they normally do, which is go off the deep end. They're not going to allow both emotion and logic to judge what they do. It's just going to be one or the other. So this may be a shock to some, may not be to others, but when you look on the Twitter, as of yesterday, 12:46 in the afternoon, don't know what y'all was doing on Sunday, right? I guess if 12:46 p.m. is Eastern time, y'all was getting out of church or mass or synagogue if it was yesterday, right? Or maybe if those are Jewish who believe in certain things that are of a Christian base, maybe you went to somebody's church, Again, we got orthodoxy, non-orthodoxy. It's all over, right? Again, we've read y'all the Bible verse. The wedding is open to many, y'all. Started off with a few. The few didn't know what they were doing, so the wedding invitation is open to many, right? So depending on what you was doing. This is what came off the desk of one Mr. Joseph R. Biden Jr., as we know him as President Joe Biden. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Do you all agree? Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. Do you all agree? We have made, the do you all agree part is coming from me, by the way. That's not in this letter. We have made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. Do y'all agree? We provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances. To my veterans out there, do y'all agree? To the veterans, to the veterans out there, do y'all agree? Do y'all agree with that statement? Passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first black woman, again, African American, this is a little bit of a silly term. But I digress. The first black woman to the Supreme Court. Or we'll stop here for a second just to talk about this subject as well. Classification. And if y'all go back into the history of human classification, they missed it when they were talking about the darker skin tone folks of this planet. That's it. Same thing when it goes to the lighter skin tones, because again, y'all are not white. You're European based. Some Scandinavian, right? See, again, they need you to buy into a certain type of sick soup that benefits them when they eat it, not you. Speaking of the soup, this melting pot, this weird chocolate fondue, if you will, is for them to dip their pretzel in at their party. Talking about parties, right? Whether someone agrees with Democratic or Republican, it's their party, not yours. Anyway. Let's continue. And passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. Do you all agree? America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know that none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Do y'all agree? Because that is the truth. A lot of this other stuff this man talking about is the normal stuff that is said in order to sway people. But in that is the truth, is the people. This thing don't work without you, without me. And they need us fighting each other so it don't work, you see? Because it don't work without you and me. Anyway, together we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. A lot of people like to do this worst economic crisis, and we ain't seen it. We ain't seen it yet. However, greed and history dictate two things. That what you don't fix, what you don't pay attention to, you will repeat. That's anybody. This is not, again, a lot of people like to go in their mind because it's been pre-programmed there, this doom and gloom. That other emotion that you get that kind of puts that hair on the back of your head, you probably should pay attention to that one because this is real, y'all. I'm telling you, study history, look at the mental game that was done during World War I, World War II, the Civil War, the European Revolution, or I should just say the Revolutionary War. The French Indian, I'm telling you, look at what was going on, ladies and gentlemen. This is no just friendly disagreements, y'all. This is takeover. The same takeovers passed down to the descendants of those people from way back then. And their descendants, so on and so forth. And you all are dealing with it today. That's what it is. Again, a lot of people like to do an escapism kind of thing. We like to go away from what is that most horrible, but that's what it is, y'all. That's what formulated the United States. That's what's got it going on these lands. So when they talk economic crisis, we ain't seen it yet. The economic crisis was the removal of all of these people on these lands that was making the economy run. It just wasn't running for the European. It was running for somebody else. And when somebody else is trying to take over and you doing your thing in your life, they don't like how you do it. They talk you down. Don't you know people like that? I know people like that. Anyway, it's time we stop playing the game, y'all, and we start playing it differently. That's not unpatriotic. That's actually very patriotic to these lands, to this nation that was already here before another one was built on top of it. Come on now, somebody. It's just the truth. Folks worshiping God in their own way, and then Europe came with their version of the Bible and put it on top of theirs. And you robbed part of what you could have seen that was worshiping the Almighty. But I digress. No, my native brothers and sisters, y'all keep on dancing. My so-called black brothers and sisters, y'all keep on dancing. My Latin brothers and sisters, y'all keep on dancing. We talking about the people that was here on these lands. Shouting and yelling and hollering, man. That's what makes up culture. You know, talking about black culture while we're sitting here talking about the economy for a minute. Let's have a conversation about that economy for a minute, right? See, again, we do this DID thing. To my so-called black brothers and sisters, you got the bedrock of community right there. Looking up a couple days ago, there's a person you can look up, Thomas C., I believe, how did I write this? L. Jennings, Thomas L. Jennings, 1791 to 1856. That black man started dry cleaning, y'all. Dry cleaning. You know how you go to the cleaners today, they got that thing, and hey, I want my shirt dried, pressed, clean, washed, blah, 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 right? That brother. Now, that's not to say what wasn't going on in other places, but we're just talking about it. We just, hey, I got my computer here, y'all. We ain't trying to put out no cap, right? Ain't no kid. Shout out to the young people, man. Y'all, hey, again, no different than the charismatic brother and sister. Y'all make life cool, man. Older people got a problem with that because they have a problem with age because they were taught to them age improperly. First African American, again, this term keeps coming up, to hold a patent granted in 1821 for his method of dry cleaning. I don't know how else to tell you. I don't know how else to tell y'all what's going on, y'all, but that's what's going on, right? Marvin Gaye made that song, What's Going On, man. This is what's going on, y'all, right? Dry cleaning, the barbershop, the hair salon. Y'all got the basis of people spending their black folks, spending that. This is no diss to the other cultures. We talking about how you come up. And again, to the other cultures, you love black folks, so you tell them this same thing. Y'all need to spend money with yourselves as well as going to the Chinese shop, right? As well as going to Walmart and Target. Where is your distribution center and store where you shop at, where they can come to you? Did you realize with the bus thing, this whole Rosa Parks thing, I won't sit where I want to sit. Okay. In doing that, you destroyed bus lines that were already in the Carolinas. This is something you in South Carolina, in the Carolinas, because I believe it was in both in North and South Carolina. Again, you don't believe me? Listen to the stories of Dr. Claude Anderson. Go look up the bus companies that were in South Carolina, black owned. But as soon as you wanted to integrate, and again, nothing wrong with it, but you don't do it at the harm of yourself. Hello. This is what we was talking about. I kind of got off on it, and then we're going to get back and finish reading this letter. And then we're going to go about our day here. We're at 15 minutes. Understand something. When it comes to advancement in society, you never do it at the cost of yourself. Yes, pieces are put together to make something new. No different than in a marriage, right? Because the two are becoming one. One in a very serious sense, but they're becoming one, right? You are still you on a very real level. Yes, you represent your partner. Yes, you represent your husband. Yes, you represent your wife, although you are still man and woman. That does not change. Many times it is said that the husband and wife should be the female and male versions of themselves. So when you're looking at the wife, that's the female version of the husband. See, again, because we don't talk about sex and sexual education, a lot of times in me saying stuff like this to folks, it bucks their mind because we don't talk about the full spectrum of sex. Yet God put it down here for us to, never mind. Husband, you are the male version of your wife. I know men and on their masculine, they don't know nothing about that, but that's what's in people, both masculine and feminine, y'all. We got to get some of these things down here because this is the stuff they playing on to make sure you put money in their pocket and not in yours. Now, these barbershops and salons and stuff, this is the bedrock of black community, man. We talking about the things that is, see, everybody don't do the same thing, right? Again, different parts, one body. What our so-called white brothers and sisters, again, our European brothers and sisters. See, another thing you got to do is drop all the divisions. Those divisions was put there in this sick pseudo-classism that they made here in the United States, what we call racism. And it's still there today. It's part of what is part of what's made up, talking about economic crisis. It's the thing that has made up that which is this middle class, upper class, lower class. Ain't no middle class, y'all. It's versions of high and low. I know this is going to buck the mind to folks because, again, we're dealing with an economic system made for their benefit, not yours. So you're thinking in terms, as we like to call it on this podcast, as I like to say it, massa. You're thinking in terms of massa. You got to think in terms of that which is liberally, right? We read it in James. God gives liberally without upbraiding, aka making fun of you because you need something. Again, if love works no ill to their neighbor, if the love of God, I was going over this verse because I know, see, again, when you live long enough, you hear the same excuses. And it just, oh, okay, that's what it is. You got folks over here want to do it their way and don't want to see anything else other than what they want to see. So in reading 2 Corinthians, right? Because of course, the part that's really cool is the idea of how we're groaning, and that groaning almost deals with this kind of guttural something you can. This is why I can understand like monk chants and things of that nature when you hear that see, again, I know people look at things a certain way because, again, you've been training your mind a certain way. Yet we miss a part of it because you're put in a box. Your God is not in a box. God is not in a box. Why did you put yourself there? Again, your choice. But no different than the question God asked Adam, who told you he was naked? Who told you that's just all for you right there? Now, again, there's a certain level of contentness with something. We understand. And satisfaction. We understand. But you come from that which is everlasting to everlasting, y'all. Anyway, when you get into the whole idea of, let's see, 5, you get down into these ideas of, let's see. We are always confident knowing this, that while we're home in the body, we're absent from the Lord. Again, they use those two ideas, but you're here, you're not where you came from. Again, we're talking from a spiritual basis here right now. Just walk with me for a second. This is not you, like this. Your physical body, you're made of something, right? That is beyond this realm. Some people just like to think right in the here and now. This is it. This was where I'm at. It's the same thing when you talk to people about whether they're American or not. And again, to each their own. Okay. We're not on here. Again, no voter suppression. We're not doing none of that silly stuff people do. You choose what you want. However, just know the deck is loaded. That's all we're letting you know. It's loaded one way or it's loaded the other way. It's still loaded. Okay. So whether you put your vote in, understand what the game is. They're going to tell you different because they need you to screw you and help them. But the game is they have loaded the game, y'all. Okay. For we walk by faith, not by sight. That's verse 7 in 2 Corinthians chapter 5. Again, being absent from the body, present with the Lord, whether we labor, present or absent, that we be accepted of him. Then you got stuff about the judgment seat of Christ. See, a lot of people like to go to this part of it. They love going anything that's got to do with that judgment and all these really bad feelings, if you will. That's not all of the Bible, y'all. Can we talk about the good? Y'all shouting around the church so much. Can you tell anybody about the good stuff? So what? Is the good only for in the Sunday service, or is it for every day and to everybody? Knowing the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. Now, see, this is what's interesting, right? Because in verse 11, it talks about the terror of God, right? Okay, or of the Lord. Okay, we persuade people. Again, you go too far when you understand and fear or have a healthy respect for that which is made. And as I said, healthy respect. When you have a healthy respect for that which has made you, it changes how you react on something. For instance, you get down into 14, it talks again, this idea of the love of Christ restraining us, constraining us. Again, the way it is said in the Bible is that love works no ill to their neighbor. If this powerful entity that is love, man, you got to be careful in what you're doing. So now the second half, they're like, KJ, man, why don't you talk about the judgment? Yeah, the judgment part of it, because it says after the love of Christ constraineth us, it says, because we then or thus judge that if one died for all, then all were dead. So all you key in on is the judge part and miss the whole rest of that verse, one telling you about the love of Christ, not just the judgment. Hard for folks to accept that. Number two, that all are on the same plane. One died for all, then we're all, or because all were dead. This idea that people keep dealing with where, I don't have to pay for what my parents did. Unfortunately, sorry, the game works that what your parents did, you have to adjust, good or bad. You either continue the good or fix the bad. Or continue the bad, you know what I'm saying? This is the game, y'all, right? So that's just old Biden talking about this economic mess. Okay, let me continue. We've protected. Let's see where we at here. 23. Okay, we've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been a great honor to my life to serve you as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. So, as we like to call him, Brandon, and all this stupid stuff we come out with. Y'all can look up where they came up with that from. Mr. Biden is stepping down at the end of this term. Okay? It is what it is. Right? Again, we don't go shooting no wannabe presidents, and we don't go making fun of old people. We're talking about the things that help the game, y'all. So the stuff that starts to come out now, oh yeah, old man, he need to go to that retirement home and blah, 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 and he didn't do nothing for this country. Ain't nobody. None of them did not. So they introduced Social Security. Come on, y'all. Come on, man. And now all of a sudden now there ain't no Social Security no more. And have you heard anything about for your youth, your babies, right? I know it's okay for you. You'll be dead and gone. But see, and again, we're talking to the older folks here, right? What about everybody else? See, this is how you know greed has entered into the game, man. We're talking about, especially to those who believe in something, to Christian brothers and sisters, right? Hello. Blessed to be a blessing and passing on the thing, right? Fixing what happened and passing on the good. Dealing with bad that might be there, right? We're talking about the balance. But I know everybody gonna be dead and gone, so who cares about Social Security for these kids, man? Who cares about what they want? I'm gone. That's your problem. Why? See that again? You can hear Master clear as day in the voice, man. You hear it, right? We got to get over that, though. We got to get over that. We putting in our own divisions that are hurting us. Okay. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision, so that'll be a nice thing whenever it comes on TV. And we'll hear him talk about for now. So here's the setup. Oh, and I posted this on my Facebook page. Looks like history's about to repeat itself, y'all. We just finished talking about that at the beginning of this episode, right? Yeah. History do repeat itself. I will speak to the nation. Okay, for now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary, or Kamala Harris, excuse me, on the mispronunciation. You got to get better, y'all, at other nations. Again, we're the greatest nation. Be great at being respectful to other people's stuff here. So while y'all are okay with re-voting in Donald Trump, who cannot bow in respect to Japanese emperors and presidents and all this kind of stuff, you need at summits, you need to be careful. We don't lord it over nobody. All you're doing is inviting war. And again, maybe we can we not keep repeating the same thing that happened in the thousands? And I understand it's Europe 2.0 over here, but anything? Nothing. We just got to keep fighting and making battles with folks and making fun of people. Which is why I don't understand how Puerto Rico is. How do you back a person who's okay making fun of your plight when you go through a major hurricane? How does that work? Yeah. The law of masses at work, man. You can see that clear as day. You see it clear as day. For being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust that you placed in me. I believe today, what I've always have, that there is nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember that we are the United States of America. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we come to the close here. Number one. Joe Biden stepping down changes nothing, because the way your government is, it is already set up to screw you. The next person elected, again, you need to understand this. The next person elected will change nothing for you, because the system is already set up to screw you. So on and so forth. Whether it has been from, as we've heard and seen in history, presidents that were here on these lands before Mr. Washington. That's something that you can look up online. And after, and of course, including Mr. Washington. And after Mr. Washington, the system has been set up for European land owning so-called white males. Again, you have to get the foundation of what this is for. This immigrative thing was to allow those same males of Europe to take, by hook and crook, like a physical hook, and by actually being crooks, right? They did these atrocities to the people, the natives of this land. All the same stuff that you keep hearing. No, that's not true, KJ. No, that's not. This was disproven. All the same stuff you keep looking up. Yeah, that's where the pirates putting in that overtime to make sure they keep it for them and those they want to give it to. That is not the free land, though, that was on these lands when they came calling. It is the same trick and divisive strategy that is used today with people, whether you're dealing with your friends, whether you're dealing with your spouse, whether you're dealing with your partner, whether you're dealing with your business partners, private and public sector. It's the same mess. You read the Willie Lynch letter, you see the same mess. You look at each one of these wars, ain't got nothing to do with holiness. It's got something to do with covering up, taking land and resources from people. Even down to the torture and hurt and rape of the women and the children of each represented culture. This is no conspiracy. It's not a secret being done in the dark. It is an attack right up front. When you look at words like democracy, and you look at words like, and we're going to end here because I'm here and I can go on all day because y'all know me, I can go on all day. Okay. When you look at democracy and republic, understand one is dealing with people and government for people. That's the republic. The word democracy is dealing with governing people, government for the people. Understand that both of those are misnomers because you are part of a government that means nothing for you. And you're around, I'm talking about the laws and everything. They're not for you. They are set up and geared for a different group of people. We the people, you read Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, right? The Constitution, those we the people that they're mentioning in these different laws. That is not you. That's for them. Now, can you glean from what they left over and make a way for yourself where there seems to be no way, right? As we say in church, right? Where there seems to be no way. Yeah, all of that, right? Yes, you can. But you do it when you band together and you put you and your people first, as well as putting people first. Inside of the government you live, y'all. That's how society works. No disrespect, no malcontent, no violence. You work on protecting yourself. And again, as good old Jerry Springer said, looking out for yourselves and each other, right? So that's what I got for y'all today. Thank y'all for walking this road with me. And until next time, as always, look to find the beauty in a different view.